Hello there. So I recently decided to return to the Sword Coast and play some Baldurs Gate 3 after being distracted for a while with other games, mainly Helldivers 2. So I am on the PS5 today and we are currently on patch number 6. I know patch 7 is coming with a much exciting modding toolkit for the game, so the mods will become better. The future plans are also to include mods for the console version and Mac users, so that's really exciting for us. My main goal today was to see what has changed and to see if I could have some fun again getting back into the game. I've been really out of practice, but I decided to try honor mode anyway, since that is totally new for me. What honor mode basically means is that this is a tactician difficulty, plus the fact that you only have one save file, so if the party wipes, the run is over. Also, there are additional action economy rules and damage bonus rules that are made stricter towards the end game, and there are also stronger bosses that now have legendary actions, so that sounds really exciting. I am afraid how that my adventure might be short-lived, but we will see what happens. I decided to keep things a bit fresh, and I made a new character. I was thinking of a half-orc barbarian called Viv. The inspiration for that came from a book or an audiobook I actually recently listened to called Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, which was the inspiration for this character. And just FYI, I really recommend this if you feel like reading fantasy that is cute and cozy in a classic D&D inspired world. So yeah, I tried to mimic Viv's look a bit from the book cover as much as I could. The opening section feels the same for me. I was using the time to get familiar again with the controls. So I escaped my pod, took the brain, talked to Lae'zel, helped Shadowheart escape, electrocuted T-Spore sots, and then at the helm of the Nautiloid, I was trying to get the flaming sword from Commander Zeke. I was trying to collect some of the explosive barrels to see if I could do more damage to him, but it kind of backfired on me, and I did in fact wipe here, to my shame. I know you can generally just run for the controls without too much trouble, but I figured in my mind I was thinking that I would get an additional edge moving forward, getting the extra experience and the sword. Yeah, but I fumbled it. So rip Viv 1.0. So I made Viv's chaotic neutral twin and made sure her skill points were a bit more favorable with no uneven numbers right now, since I can always respec later. And I fast forward here a bit. I decided to fight these in the hope the XP would make me level faster. I also loot most things just for more money and camp supplies down the line. I lost my nerve in the end here a bit and trying to take on Zeke with my temporary gay friend when he died, so I just bolted for it. I did try to keep him alive as long as I could with some healing from Shadowheart, but to no avail. So yeah, I decided to move the game ahead here. So back at the beach, I talked to Shadowheart, and I did notice here I could level up a little bit sooner before my fight with the brain thingies. I decided to approach these with stealth and get a good opening position with the high ground advantage, and opening the fight with a fireball on this exploding vat here. And that went pretty well for me. A little something I noticed about the inventory management with the controller. So you now have the option to select multiple by holding the square button, and then you can easily make a selection. I tried here putting all these in a bag, and that works pretty well. So I think organizational wise this as an improvement for the console or for people using controllers in general. So yeah, next up I picked up Astarion, I slapped Gale and went on to pick up a shovel for potential treasure I find along the way. When getting Gale, I could level him up immediately, and I was really debating on how to specialize him. I really like Invocation to make the AoEs not hurt my team, I also believe that divination with the portent dice is really powerful as well. I decided until I can fix Shadowheart, I would do well to make Gale a little bit more survivable with being an abjuration wizard and get Arcane Ward. Then I decided to get Lae'zel. This dialogue has never happened to me yet, and I didn't quite plan having to choose between killing Lae'zel or killing the Tiefling so early on. That was quite a dilemma for me, because I wanted to play kinda nice, but yeah, I decided to kill the Tieflings, mainly as to not lose Lae'zel. So far my character has been rather nice, but here I started thinking maybe I could be a ruthless brute from now on. We'll see, time will tell. So after picking up Lae'zel, I figured I would try one more fight before resting in terms of food economics, and luckily enough I was able to avoid one here by my excellent intimidation as a barbarian, and I picked up some more loot and treasure. And then I decided to go to camp for some party banter and shut-eye. For those who only played in the early version might not have seen this, but there is a magic mirror in our camp that allows us to change our appearance. I figured here I let my character shift into her brutish nature reflect a little bit in her appearance, hence the war paint and the slightly darker hair. So back on the road, I was trying again my luck at deception here, which would have been better if I let Astarion do this, so it did fail. I had never had this situation before where they actually get ready for you. I still decided to go for it, having Astarion pick the lock, and we went in. Now I was really strategizing here on how to get the fight started. So there, I see this fire barrel here, which I wasn't sure yet how to use to my advantage. I was thinking of ways with the mage hand to move it, but unfortunately I didn't have the invisible one. Then I also see the lever at the door, which I was thinking of triggering halfway through the fight to separate their units as to not having to fight all of them at once. So I decided to open with a ranged attack from Gale here, trying to keep my more weaker units out of line sight where I could. I noticed a little group here and I decided to get some AoE damage in from a throwable I picked up on the Nautiloid. This also triggered the door mechanics, separating a portion of their units. At this point I knew the fight had turned my way. The enemies tried bashing the door to help their comrades, but to no avail. I could set up for the second round at the door when I was ready. I did attempt something with the barrel here, and I guess if I had been more patient I could have done it in the next round, but I decided to use the void bulb, trying to suck the enemies closer to it. I forgot, however, it would break the barrel, so yeah, I kind of fumbled that. I figured I could still make the ground burn after that to a lesser effect, but yeah, I failed here as well. Luckily this didn't really cause any further complications for me. And yeah, I was just victorious. I was already weighing here if I wanted to make a long rest again, but the food economics wise I decided against it for now. I also noticed I only had one short rest, which didn't seem to have replenished since my long rest. I assume this is some honor mode mechanic as well. Or I must have forgot I short rested, I am not too sure. So yeah, I'm heading further into the Dark Crypt here. I knew Astarion was the best character for the job in this part here. If disarming the trap would have failed, I could have always pushed the button close by. So with the key in hand for the next part, which I knew was going to be another fight, so I remember I could loot all these undead corpses, at least. They wouldn't carry any of their weapons in the fight to come. But before triggering the fight, I decided to use Gale to open the tome. Since his scholarly ways, I know he has the best way of succeeding this, for some potential inspiration and some tidbits of lore about the Second Sundering, which if anyone would be interested in this, I could make a video about in the future. Let me know in the comments. So I decided to get into position and splitting the group, each hugging their respected caster and having Astarion and Stealth over here. When triggering the button, I got lucky on the initiative roll and was able to dispatch this caster on the first round. I noticed that Shadowheart would come under the most heat here, but she managed herself surprisingly well. What did worry me was that I missed this undead over here with his sword, and I hope this was not going to be a costly mistake given he has a higher health pool. I got my barbarian a bit far out, but I have been having a really good time this playthrough throwing weapons at enemies. Maybe something to make a build around, perhaps. I did forget Astarion here until a quarter of the fight in, but as soon as I got him into play, I knew the fight was going my way. Also, I could use Turn Undead to good effect here as well against this baddie. And with this undead down, the fight was done, and so was my time for the day. I have to say that by the next morning, I was already really excited to get playing again. I started strategizing in my thoughts about where to go next and what choices to make early in bed. And I knew for a fact that this is due to the fact I picked honor mode. Every choice becomes much more impactful, and it really excites me actually. Anyway, if you also enjoyed this content and like to see more of this, please let me know in the comments. Liking and subscribing are of course much appreciated since this is YouTube after all. And until the next video, bye.